Hi, I'm George Zicke, inventor of the Revolution, and the thing I like about this time of the year is the winds start coming up, and it gives me a chance to power kite a little bit. I'm going to fly the 2.4, and I'm on a buggy, and let's go for a ride. I love that speed. Power kiting is amazing, but what is really amazing is the Revolution control. And that control extends to power, so we can totally control that power. For example, I've got a Power Blast 2.4, we're at 20 plus mile an hour winds, and here it is hovering in the center of the wind window. There should be so much power there, you can't even imagine, but there's very little power. But with a simple rotation of the wrist, I can totally turn that power on and off. Let's take a closer look at the equipment. For buggying on the grass, we need a little bit of power. So what I use is the Power Blast 2.4. And for the buggy, we're using a simple Lynn buggy. It's nice and light. But what we're going to do now is let's take a look at the basics of power kiting. For that, we're going to use a skateboard, and we're going to use the Reflex XX. Okay, let's quickly cover the basics of power kiting. It's actually pretty straightforward. Imagine this is the wind direction here, and this is perpendicular to the wind. So we're going to be here, in small scale, we're going to be here and flying our rev up here. On our board, or our buggy, what we want to do is we want to start out at 45 degrees. So here's straight in, and here's 90, here's 45. We start this way, we power up. As we pick up speed, we go perpendicular to the wind, and then to slow down, we turn upwind. Okay, so from here, what we're going to do is take the kite up overhead, take the rev overhead, and we're going to dip it down and bring it back up. We're only dipping it a little bit to get just a little bit of power. We're going to start out nice and easy. So we're going to dip your rev down, you'll pick up a little bit of speed, dip it back up, and just coast, and then coast to the other side. That's all we're trying to do. Let's give it a try. Okay, so let's do it without the kite. We'll imagine the kite's there, and without the board, and let's get it clear in our head. The wind is blowing this way. We're going to take off at 45 degrees. Our rev is overhead. We're going to dip it. As we pick up speed, we move across. Now we depower it. We bring it back up as we coast, and then we turn upwind and slow down and stop. Okay, let's do it with the kite. Okay, we're going to take our rev up, and we're going to start 45 degrees. So look at the board. That's the direction we're going to go. I'm not going to actually get on the board, but we want to think about that direction. The direction is important. We're going to bring the rev down, bump it through that air just to get enough pressure to get us to move a little bit. Just a little bit of energy. We'll come down a couple feet. If that's not enough, come down a couple more. But don't go diving into the power zone. Just dip in and dip out. This is what it looks like. We'll rev up overhead, 45 degrees, dip, and back up again. I'm rolling down, there's no power on the rev really, and I'm just coasting, and I steer up at my other 45 degrees. That's all there is to it. Okay, let's try it with the board. And what I want you to do is I want you to practice this a few times and have those thoughts clear in your head. There's a lot of things going on, and the more you have down to memory, the better off you are. Okay, let's take a minute and look at board skills. There's really two things going on here. You've got board skills, or buggy skills, and kite skills. So some people are so good on their kite they never have to look at it. Some people are so good on their board they never have to look at it. Well, we're going to be someplace in between. Let's work on the board a little bit. So this is what I want you to do. We're going to put our rev overhead, pretend it's there, and we're looking up at our rev, and we look at the board. We look at the rev, we look at the board, put our foot on the board. Look up the rev, look down, get ready to put your other foot up, and look down, foot up, back up to your rev, and try to balance. Okay? And you balance by looking up and looking down. But it's something you have to get a little bit of a feel for. So practice it a few times. Don't just do it once and say, okay, I'm ready to go. You gotta kind of have it down. Foot, rev, up, balance, feel the balance. So I'm actually thinking about my balance while my eyes are watching the rev. I'm not really concentrating on the rev, I'm just making sure the rev doesn't get out of control, but I'm really thinking about my foot and my balance. It's actually a lot easier when you have the rev in your hands because there's some force on there and it kind of helps you to have something to lean against. All right, let's put the rev up. Number one, safety first. All right, let's put our rev up and see if we can get that board stabilized under us. Overhead, nice and stable. I can actually pretty much feel it's stable up there, so I could really spend more time, but I'll watch that and focus on my feet. Here we go. First foot down, up. Second foot down, up. Down, up. Oh yeah, it's way easier when you're holding your rev. Keep it nice and stable up there. Don't drop it down into the power window. You're gonna run into some problems. All right, so I think we're ready to go. So I had my board turned 90 degrees so it wasn't rolling on me, but now let's turn it 45 degrees. What are we gonna do? We're gonna dip into the window, get a little bit of power, and instantly take it back up out of the power and just coast. This is what it looks like. 45 degrees down, yeah, step back. Foot on, rev overhead. That was perfect. We got power, we didn't lose control, we stayed up at the top of the window, we didn't turn it down into a dive and go crashing into the ground. Just ease into it, just like that. So I could have used a little more power, so let's do it again. Yep. Up. Yep. Up. All right, that's perfect. 45 degrees down, coast across, pull your kite up out of the window, and coast to a stop. That is perfect. If you get that far, you're on your way. From then on, we just need to build on that. So build it and take it just a little bit further, and a little bit further, and a little bit further. Remember, this is just a quick overview. Grab your rev, grab a skateboard, and give it a try. Next step, grab yourself a mountain board or a buggy. Get yourself a Revolution Power Blast 2.4, and we'll see you on the field.